What's up, guys, and welcome to this week's Market Watch. And I hope you've had a rested weekend and getting ready, prepared for the week to come. Please make sure that if you haven't checked out our last week's video, just on some news, something that we didn't miss, just having a look at the markets and seeing how things have reacted accordingly. But guys, let's get into it. And just looking at a few bits of news here, cryptonews.com, they're talking just about obviously the regulation, talking about what's coming for possibly next year, stable coins, NFTs. There's been a lot of talk about that. We have touched on that on some past videos. And we can see that 2021 there was a lot of drive into crypto, a lot of eyes, looking at the crypto market. Bitcoin reached all-time highs, Ethereum reached all-time highs. So it's definitely not going to be going away, and people are obviously attracting that attention. We've obviously seen El Salvador, country that has adopted crypto, so more crypto is going to be adopted around the world. And something just to pinpoint and just take out some notes from this article, is quite a lengthy article, but please take a look and go have a read. It says here, in countries where the underlying economic model is weak, or inflation is crippling, or access to a global market is limited, this bottom-up end demand tends to be greater. Governments are understandably reacting to it in ways, and that's where politics and geopolitics come in. So this obviously in terms of the regulation, there's been a lot of talk about regulation, and I believe that there will be regulation from somehow they're going to be implementing it. And it seems that it will be the smaller markets with a lighter administration that will lead the way in terms of crypto regulation. Perhaps this might eventually bring a new balance power, or perhaps not. Okay, so it says here that as the adoption of blockchain and cryptos continues, believes that the standardization approach to regulating crypto will emerge, right? And likely in the form of a decentralized framework. Within this, you see that there might be value in true decentralization and lack of control, single or few parties. So it's going to be something to follow. It's going to be continuous. It's definitely not going to go away. The obviously looking at this crypto and regulation of crypto. Okay, it's obviously we're dealing with normal fiat, normal money, normal banks, and obviously how is that going to be regulated? What is the look of that that's going to be going forward? So let's have a look how that plays out, and I definitely think that 2022 is going to be a lot of talk on regulation and going forward. And there was also last week's video we did touch on, there was the bill being passed, people wanting to be taxed now in the US. If you have a certain amount of crypto, you're going to be doing tax. So that's obviously where things are going to be going. And looking at crypto now as a whole, and what do we see on Cointelegraph.com? We see that Bitcoin sentiment in wild divergence from reality. Okay, and we can see now that Bitcoin is showing here the sentiment dives into extreme fear. So fear and greed, as we have touched on that, which takes a basket of factors, compute and standardized sentiment score for crypto marks 1 to 100 and currently sits on 21. So jumping into that, let's have a look at the crypto fear. And currently, as we can see here, that yesterday was 21. We are currently now on a 27. Okay, 27, and still fear. All right, still fear in the market. People are not sure what is going to happen. Generally, the greed is when prices are pushing right up, as you can see there last month, and now we're now to fear, which is showing what is going to happen. Is price going to carry on falling, or is it just representing more buying opportunities? So something just to see that the reasoning behind the crypto and BTC falling is that a lot of people are saying, well, it is a good time to buy. All right. And it says here on the 30th of December, when the index last hit, all right, 21 out of 100, that's that fear traded at around 43,800, right? So it was way lower when the last time we did that, but currently that we can see that funding rates see overnight resets. Funding rates being positive despite Friday's move showed that the market expectations were for a swift recovery. So what also could lead on to this fear and greed, and the reason for this sudden push, okay, and drop in the markets, one, it was, as we did mention in our last few videos, we had that ETF that didn't get passed, and now what we are seeing is that news and stuff that has just come out. Bitcoin steamed some of its losses as Wall Street opened 26th November after concern over a new COVID variant spark global market sell-off. So Pfizer gains as coronavirus panic sets in. So this is obviously around the news, and apparently there's this new strain that's coming out. UK, I believe, as well, has locked the borders to South Africa. There's countries that are stopping travel again. So we're going to see, going into obviously this now new year, for the festive season, possible drop in the markets. We already see it with Bitcoin and stuff. We'll get to the market shortly. I'll even see it across NASDAQ, has had a sharp drop from Friday close. So Wall Street is showing that we're down, okay? The markets are down, crypto's down, and this is obviously on some of this news now with this new coronavirus variant. So with that in mind, guys, we need to understand that there's so many things to invest in, but when we have stuff and fears or news coming up this, we need to just take a step back because the markets are a little bit uncertain, and rather wait and settle. Do we start botting out and waiting for that support? Do we start seeing a bit of new positive news coming out where we can possibly see the market regain itself again? So just having a look at another point here on Cointelegraph, it's quite interesting to see this map, Crypto Regulation World Map 2021. And we can see here the green, yellow and red, most legal being the green part. And we can see it's obviously most of America, Australia, obviously a lot of the UK, Europe side of things. And then we have some significant concerns. And as we can see, obviously South Africa, where we're based, we have a significant turns. We obviously have those big parts there, Russia, all those areas where there's going to be more, in terms of legal, and that generally will be these smaller countries that are going to have this regulation involved, and then obviously now mostly illegal. And that's not of China, which we've been discussing as well. China's been trying to crack down on crypto and that. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing how this is going to progress going into 2022. But this news currently now, looking at the markets, which we're going to go into shortly, is that we need to just step back a little bit. Prices aren't breaking the highs anymore. We are set with that fear, and possibly now, because our majors are going to be dropping, we will then see other altcoins as that to follow as well, and we will touch on that shortly. Something to look at, which we also had a look at, which was the metaverse, and that is obviously Facebook, and they're trying to go into this new virtual world. And something that I wanted to share, and we would look at the markets as well, is that these crypto tokens that have just been blasted off, and these are these two companies, or specifically that we're going to look at, and one is Sandbox. All right, so Sandbox, it's a gaming platform, has recently drawn in millions of funding, including backers like SoftBank. And what this basically does is these companies now will be creating these gaming experiences where you can even, it says here, Sandbox visitors can monetize assets and gaming experience, including buying virtual plots of land, all with Sand token, which is crazy. And you can see here, even attracting big names. Snoop Dogg announced he wanting to buy a plot of land and build a mansion. Now this is all on virtual world, guys. NFTs, tokens, rewards, all that type of stuff. And this is what Meta is wanting to do. So what we can see is that if we can have a look at some of these companies, it would be good to get in now. I think, wow, this is the hype is around it getting built. They even showed that there was there was a yacht that was sold for $650,000 on this basic virtual platform, which is crazy to think that's where the metaverse is going to be going. So what are the two companies we're going to be looking at? And I will go over shortly, one being Sandbox, and then the other one was Mana. I think it was called Mana, and we will have a look at that shortly. So guys, let's look at our markets, look at our analysis, see where price could be going, looking at our majors, looking at some altcoins, especially these ones now that will be linked to the metaverse, potential buying opportunities there to come, and then we're going to have a look at our ILUS coin as well. So looking at BTC, guys, and from our last analysis, as I mentioned, we retested the all-time highs. You can see we've had a big close around, this is the weekly time frame. We've had 2 bearish weeks that have closed, and from my daily analysis, I did mention that once we had closed below there, we could most likely see as a first target our 52,600 region, and we can see price is now closed back down to these areas. So what could happen? Where could price go? Well, because we are still in this weekly structure, we still have a bullish weekly structure, because we have rejected this all-time highs, it is concerning for me. I do believe that if we are going to be going down one of the better buying opportunities would be around 50,000, slightly lower, maybe around 49,000, which would be around about there. And that's where would be a good area to buy, and we could possibly start seeing from this region a pushback up to retest the area of around 62,200. So what could play out coming into the weeks ahead? If we just have a look at the daily time frame, so we can currently see structure is down. All right, if we had to look for a downside potential, as I mentioned, 49,200 could be the mark, or 49 straight area. From here, we could possibly start seeing a bit of a bottom out, all right, bit of a change structure, and then see a push back up to 62,500. From there, we'll have to then look at the market and go from there. But right, the other thing what could do, if we carry on falling and we break these lows, then we're definitely going to be going much lower, because then we'll have the market shift. Market would have changed. We currently have this bullish trend line, all right, on BTC, but if we break this, we could see a retest and break these lows around 40,000. If that happens, we're definitely going to be going to 30,000. But right now, first target on the map, definitely 49,000, 50,000, around that mark. From there, we could start seeing a slight pullback up to our 62,500, and here we'll have to recess if we do start to break higher. But for me, currently, structure is breaking to the downside. If I were to put my fib from these highs currently to these lows, we can see we could pull back up into our sweet zone, as mentioned, 62,500, and then seeing a drop down to around 40,000 for BTC. So currently, right now, still see downside, structures downside. If you are trading BTC or any crypto as a day trader, as I'm not actually buying a coin, rather just trading the futures, then a sell opportunity could be on the cards from around 60,000. If we have this pullback up, the 4 hour is looking definitely good for these areas, all right, to sell from around 58,800 could be a good area to sell back down to our 50 target. So for me, still downward on BTC and looking for that end goal for now at around 49,800, 49,000. Ethereum as well is obviously going to follow, and we can see my analysis is still up there from our last week's analysis. We didn't get that high as I thought we were, but we can see we broke out of this trend line, we pulled back up to these around 46, and now we've had a strong close to the downside. We are facing a bit of support, all right, so we want to see what happens at this region. We've had a lot of support, a lot of resistance at this zone. If we do break it, we could definitely see a potential downside market. And for me, I would like to see, at least for Ethereum, because we had this big push to the upside. If I take my fib just from the top to the bottom, this region around here is a good mark for me, around 32,800. So for me, right now, we've had the high, we've broken this small intermediate trend, we've came back up, created a lower high, and fib from the high to this low, we can see price at least making its way down to 3.4 for Ethereum. So for me, still downward targets. Again, if you're wanting to look for sells, my goals around 3.6, 3.4 could definitely be on the cards right now. Ripple, same thing. We have that breakout to the downside. We can see we have this trend line. Didn't retest higher than I thought. We just consolidated for a bit and now broke through this downward trend line. So for me, if you look again on the weekly time frame, just to give you guys an example, we have this pattern here. We have this area, and obviously now this area rejected. We've got 1, 2, 3 touches to the downside. We've broken that daily trend line where I had it. And again, if I put my fib from this high to this low, right, we can see we've rejected this area, and on the cards potentially 71, 72 cents, and then hopefully making its way down to around 52 cents for Ripple. And from one of our first videos a few months back, I did mention to you that I am waiting for Ripple to break these equal lows over here, at least, and breaking it, which we could see price doing that now, especially with this weekly analysis on the card. So for me, it's good. I'm excited. I'm wanting to see these low prices so we can get in again, and potentially 2022 we could see the bull run now coming in, hopefully for these major pairs again. So downsides for our majors: Ethereum, BTC, Ripple. And what I want to look at now is these are linked to the metaverse. These tokens we can follow. They're looking very, very good. To set out, and this is Sand, okay, Sand USD on TradingView. And if you just look at the weekly, all right, when the news broke out 4th of October, 18th of October, we can see that it's just obliterated the market and is pushing up. But let's look at the 4-hour, and something to show you as well. It's a great trend we're going on the 4-hour. We've had that pushback. Price has slowly come back to this region, all right? So from here, I either see us now breaking structure, which it does look like we have broken these areas here. So what could happen is price pull back to around the $6.5, all right? If I take my high to my low like this, move that down, we could see price now make its way from these areas back up to around here. Obviously, I would like to see price come lower. I do believe this could be something too big to follow. We are still quite cheap, $6. If we could come back to around $4 or $3, it would be even better. If I just had to show you this daily structure here, if we could come back to there, and then possibly around $3 or $4 around here. But for now, one to follow. Keep an eye on this, the sandbox, okay? I do believe we're going to see a big upside potential for this one. And then the other one is our MANA USD. Same thing, you can see from that news when they talk about the metaverse and working on all of this, how this is just blasted. All right, 4 hours, well, structure looking very, very good. We could see more downside, but we have come into a good discount region here. We've had a lot of support, and from this place now we could possibly see price making its way back up to the highs, all right? But one to follow definitely what I want to follow for this pair as well. So MANA USD, all right, they are linked, the companies linked to the metaverse with Facebook, with this digital world. You know, people are buying yachts, they're buying plots of land in this digital universe. So very, very interesting to follow, and I believe it's just going to go crazy with everything linked to it. NFTs, the blockchain, all of that is just going to be going crazy. So currently, great bullish trend. Okay, so we are at a higher low point, so very good region to buy. So MANA, good one to follow, and obviously Sand as well, the Sandbox, which actually create these games, and they're associated with Microsoft. You can play out on your phone, and something that's going to be huge coming into it. So guys, jumping into our ILUS Coin. ILUS Coin, and coin that we are, you know, been following as well. Great coin, great backing, and let's have a look at it now on KuCoin.app is where we have our analysis. From our last week, we've been hanging around this 3.35 cents, all right, for now, and I do believe, and look, just if I mean looking at this market, it looks like we have come into this discounted region. One or two things is going to happen. We're either going to break this line, all right, and make our way back down to our 0.250, possibly 3 mark, all right. But for me, I see that we're going to go uphill from here. I do see we're going to be going uphill. If I just take this from the high low to the high, all right, we have come into a very, very good discounted region. And from here, we could see this at least going back up to our 0.5 mark, and then possibly a 0.6. So for now, we have been stalling, going a little bit sideways for the coin. We've had that nice bottom out, all right, for the token. We've had the nice bottom out. We've changed our direction, and a great buying opportunity where we are currently sitting. So for me, guys, please jump into this coin. We are at very, very low prices. Structure is there. We have had a lot of support currently now, and I'm hoping for this week we're going to start seeing a push up. If I look at the lower time frame, all right, we're currently now on the 12 hour. If I look at the 1 hour, and I'll go back to structure, right, we can see that we want to start seeing a small structure break. Okay, we want to start seeing the structure break 0.38. Once we do that, we'll then make our way back up here, and I want to see price coming back up past 0.5 today. We are look like we're just coming into these discount areas. We might just have a bit of a fake out, all right, so something like this coming into discount of around 0.3 possibly, and then start seeing us come back up, retest, and then up to our regions where we're wanting to see price go. So for me, still good buying opportunities. Structure is still intact. Not looking like we're going to be going down at all. If we do, it's going to be some fake outs to the downside. Possibly worst case scenario, we're going to go back down to 0.25, and then from there we're going to start seeing a price reaction. So for me, great area, still structure still intact, and I'm wanting to see from these regions price going up to 0.5. So guys, jump into this coin. Amazing stuff. Go have a look at iluscoin.com, iluscoin.com, and it shows you even where you can buy the coin, what's behind it, the company behind it, and the rewards as well. We've got great social media presence, Twitter, follow the pages, a lot of material where you can see what happens when you stake a coin, the partners, the CEO, everything behind the coin, and it just gives you that satisfaction, and it gives you that feeling that your money is just not going to be a pump and dump type of thing. This is going to be a long lasting token. So guys, Have a good week. Trade safe. And if you have any questions, or if you guys want to find out anything more, please send us a message on the YouTube channel, and we can take things from there. So keep well. Speak to you soon.